So I have to apologize in advance because what happens when any build I'm involved in stretches out past a window of about 72 hours, I just lose all focus. So I think this is the only picture I took between the end of build part 2 and where we stand right now. So that out of the way, let's get into the rest of it. I had certainly had some grand plans, but was betrayed by arts and crafts. This is transfer paper, like water slide decals, and I've used a variant of this product before and tried using it again, and I printed out multiple copies of everything and never got one of them to work. So I don't know what to say about that, but so that puts the graphics a little bit on hold. I had intentions of other stuff here, the off-road recovery and stuff like that. That will come in time. I had to go with a single color for that. That's cut on a Cricut. I think it passes the 6-foot rule. Up close, they don't look super great, but I mean, you get back to right about here, it's not bad at all. So, I mean, I think it evokes the original a bit. I also, as you'll have noticed, didn't go with a external winch on the front because I liked the bumper nested in more, and left the uncut body over the grill, mostly for reasons of strength. That internal grill is only held in place by 2 screws on either side, and this is not a thick, heavy-duty body. This thing is, it probably weighs a little bit more than an Ecto body, and it's gigantic. The body on an SCX-10 will fit inside of that. So here's how the Banana sits in its near final configuration. It's got the Gatekeeper towers in the front, and I guess those are Enduro towers. An extra shout out, if I haven't already provided one, to my, what I would consider my second, number 2 Patreon. First would be my wife, who lets me get away with doing this stuff, and the other would be YouTube channel viewer Tyler Durden, who was kind enough to send me out a huge bag of SCX-10 and element parts, which is where I got the bumper mounts, shock towers, a whole bunch of little bits and pieces that put the thing together. And I'm really happy with how it came out. Got the hubs in the front, all the links seem to have gone together great, and the Banana will definitely be a permanent addition to the fleet. There'll probably be some tweaking. I might find a little bit better of a bumper. This bumper was actually initially purchased for another vehicle. I slipped it on here. Really like the look of how the little flat stinger kind of matches what's on the Banana. But I'm happy with it so far, and I'm sure it will be featured in more videos in the future. So thanks for sticking with us. I'm pretty sure I mentioned in some other video long ago that my first dream car to own, RC car to own, was in a Team Associated, the venerable Gold Pan RC10. But I couldn't afford it, so I started with a Kyosho. So I don't know why I put off building anything Element for so long. I got the Ecto kind of on a impulse buy, and have been, and was sort of cool to it at the beginning, but I've really grown to like it. I like it as much as any other rig that I have. So I had initially intended to build the Banana out of perhaps something Traxxas, because the parts are plentiful and I have a lot of them. then it just seemed a better idea, and again, that Black Friday crept in, to go element with it, and I'm really glad that I did, because this truck handles really well, and I honestly think it looks really good. The only thing hanging out in the open, as far as I'm concerned, will be durability. Both of the build and of that body. So we will see how that shakes out. I'm also happy that the ESS1 sound module has got a home again. I had initially had it in Jolly Green, and there's just too much wires in a Defender, so it was homeless for a while. Back to the other me. After the Banana's inaugural trip on the rocks, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. I think it did really well. I had kind of forgotten what it's like with this sort of a situation. Ironside's Defender is really the only rig here with full body width bumpers, and yeah, those get hung up on a lot of stuff. So in case I didn't cover any of it before, and I'm pretty sure I didn't, so here's the final, for now, build of the Banana. This is how it's sitting. This is Precision Works Hand to God servo winch. My favorite AGFRC, I just call it the 73. It's the $60 one. Hobbywing 1080. There's a Brood Racing 16-turn 5-pole. It's rebuildable. It's a really nice motor. It was lackluster in the kernel, but it's great in here. Sense Innovations sound module, which brings you this. And I think really adds something to it. I've never gotten the software to work beyond increasing the idle time. I think the default time that it idles for is like 3 seconds, so the motor is constantly shutting off. I upped that to 10 seconds. We've got an RC four-wheel drive winch controller. The winch is being run on channel 4 of the FlySky remote. It's on this guy here. If I can just program my brain to remember which is in and which is out, that will be great. Receiver box, waterproof receiver box from a Traxxas /4x4, I think. Sounds right. I'm suitably impressed by the RC four-wheel drive Milestar Patagonias. They absolutely look the part, and they work great. I was pleasantly surprised with how grippy they are. That is, of course, discarding the OE foams, which are as hard as rocks. I don't know if I pointed it out during the build videos, but here is one of those foams, and like, I wish I had something heavy to set on this, because the weight of them is outrageous. If you set a weight on these, they don't deflect at all. They are, like, if you had a pillow made out of this, it would be too hard to sleep on. I have no idea what these are for. Like, I have to squeeze that as hard as I can to get it to collapse all the way. Anyway, crazy crawlers in the front, and I don't know what's in the back. Something that's medium came out of another tire, but they worked a treat. So, of course, there are some little problems here and there. I should have planned this out a little better. Part of me wanted to do an imitation being the sincerest form of flattery. Some bit of homage to the Matt's off-road recovery crew up there in Hurricane, as they say it. But I don't think I could I could do it any justice. So we'll just have the banana rescue the Colonel for a second time. Always being careful not to run over the rope. It was, with crawlers, as one might expect, it's actually relatively difficult to get them stuck, aside from rollovers in rocky areas. So I, not to give away too much detail, but I just put my foot on the top of Colonel and went full throttle until he dug a hole into the ground. He might have actually been able to get out of it himself, but, I mean, you know, we got to do something, right? Then we'll go into just, you know, I guess what I shot as B-roll of the banana, just kind of showing off how it runs. And in the moment, I had so many things that I wanted to talk about with regards to the build and how it came together. And of course, as I sit here now watching this footage, I'm drawing an absolute blank. The all-black graphics, I don't know, they're starting to grow on me. I also, I need the hood, the Corvair veins in the hood. I've got to figure that out at some point. I drove it around quite a bit off camera, and it's pretty great. I mean, it's Defender size, but definitely not Defender handling. And I definitely think I need to mention the Colonel was a great sport about this. He doesn't generally need rescued, but at least part of it is honest, because as you'll hear right here, the slipper in that gearbox has slipped pretty much nearly wide open, so he did need rescued in some of those spots. And we'll get back to me talking about stuff I did wrong. This being the biggest issue, and this is entirely my fault, I just grabbed whatever servo horn looked good and looked like it would fit. It's already clocked way too far, and that becomes an issue in that steering to this side, just fine, goes right to lock. Steering to this side, it's getting about, I don't know, 80% steering to that side, 100% there. It's just hitting the panhard mount. And that's my fault 100%. That will be the first thing that's addressed. The shocks with the springs that are on them, I think, are great. Everything else running-wise seems really good. I'm happy with the front and rear bumpers, despite how much they catch on stuff. The links worked great. The brass slides over the rocks. The rig handles really well for something that's fresh built. Obviously, the graphics on the body still need a fair amount of work. I need the off-road recovery here. I need the mats, rope stuff. I've been trying to cut them, but as I mentioned in my head, cutting something this small is about the limits of what your wife's Cricut multi-purpose cutter will do. Like, up close, they don't look great. Back here, all right, not too bad. I wish this would be in play, but I was betrayed by my love of craft stores. So there you have it. I will, I'm sure I'll have some closing notes over some B-roll footage. I will throw the banana on the, they're buried here. I will throw the banana on the scales. Awkward transition. So it came out, I mean, really evenly distributed. It is super symmetrical. So somehow I got the same amount of weight on the left as on the right. That never happens. CG, more than acceptable for the height of the tire. Decent weight distribution. For just blindly doing it, pretty good. and see what kind of numbers we're going to get. I think they're going to be pretty good because, as I mentioned, this body weighs next to nothing. It's very forward heavy because it has that little part bolted into the front. But other than that, that Axial XJ is light because it is, I think I calipered the very bottom edges here at like, you know, the body is listed as 040. I think down here at the bottom it's about 008 at the very bottom, and here it's about 018. The only spots that I found that it's still 040 is right here on the fenders, which is great because that's the part that needs to be the strongest. So durability, we will see, but in terms of the quote-unquote out-of-the-box performance, this thing's great. And I know I mentioned it before. I will definitely put it in a graphic shout-out. My unofficial Patreon, Tyler Durden, thank you again so much for sending me that box of parts. It helped me immensely having the choices of bits and bobs to finish up the rear end and get it actually set up correctly. I think these springs were in that box. So everything's good. And now that the Banana is as done, I need to put yellow winch line in, and to do that I have to find yellow winch line. But it's done for now. It's fun to drive. I want to take it out some more right now. The stealth transmission is a perfect for this application because it lives by its name. It's very quiet, so all you hear when you're driving is the motor, as you saw from the video. And I'll be moving on to the next build. I've still got parts on the way right now, so it'll probably be a couple days, a week. I don't know if I'll get that one started in 2021, but we'll move on to something. We don't know what we'll do next, but we'll do something. I've got a box set aside with all the parts for the next build, and that'll be hopefully soon. So thanks for watching the Banana build. I had a good time. It came out every bit as well as I could have hoped for. I can't, for some reason, get the body to line up. There we go. I'm immensely happy with it. Obviously, needs more graphics, but performance-wise, it did better than my expectations. And that's all for now. Look forward to more Banana content in the future, and I hope you tune in for those. Thanks for watching.